Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, everybody. I pray that your week is off to an amazing start. I also pray that your Thanksgiving was amazing and that you got some rest. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that you're putting in the chat where you're joining me from. I would love to give you a shout out. And again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Wife Chat. And I pray that your day is off to an amazing start. Hey, Christian, how are you? I am well. I am well. I am well. It is cold as heck here in Maryland, but thank you so much for joining me. I was going to say, what are you doing up? But I know why you up because it's another day over there. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that you're putting in the chat where you're joining me from. I would love to give you a shout out. Tight hugs right back to you. I love you so much, and I thank you so much for all that you do for me. I truly do. I appreciate you. Again, you guys, please put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would love, love, love to give you a shout out. And again, you guys, I hope that you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope that you were able to get some rest and spend some time with yourself or with some loved ones. As for myself, I threw it down in the kitchen. But as you guys know, even though it's been 2.5 months since I had surgery, I still think that I'm like back to normal. So I kind of paid for all that cooking I did, but my family enjoyed it. And so it was well worth it. And then I had to go on yesterday to physical therapy, and trust and believe me, I've been feeling it, and I have to go back tomorrow. But shoot, I just went back, and I want to quit again. I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel and here on Facebook. I am so blessed that you guys get on here to listen to what I have to say, and I don't take it for granted. And so tonight, this chat actually comes from a young man, and I'm gonna say young man, all the way from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So this is a husband, and he wants to know about what separation looks like. And he told me that him and his wife have been separated for 5 months now, and that his question to me was a couple of things. Is separation good in marriage, right? He also wanted to know how long is too long or too short to be separated. And he said there was major, major communication issues, and that his wife was verbally abusive to him. And that was the reason why he decided he wanted to walk away before he put his hands on her. And so he reached out to figure out what could be done, and is separation good, and if what he should do while he's separated. Okay, backwoods lawn care, she's already messed around for sure. Why would you say that on my YouTube channel? That doesn't mean that she's already messed around. No, I don't believe that. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of separation, right? Because as you guys know, I have been married 35 years, and Gail and I have been separated twice in the 35 years. And in that 35 years, and when we were separated, we was literally on the verge of divorce. And I'm not talking about just talking about it. I'm talking about the papers had been drawn up, and we had went into debt with lawyers, like over $10,000 worth of debt back in the day, with drawn up papers and stuff like that. So the very first time that Gil and I got separated, he left my behind, and I thought we had been robbed. And for you guys that follow me, know my story, and I'm very open and honest. I was the one who created 90% of the chaos that went on in my marriage, right? And so my mouth was a lethal weapon, and still can be. And so he left, and Gil and I was separated for almost a year. And in that year time, I had to realize that I needed to do the work on me and not try to save my marriage and all those kind of things. I need to figure out what was the root cause of my behavior. Okay. Hi, Mary. How are you? From Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you. 2 years ago, my wife left me for 2 months. It was not easy for me. Haven't been the same since, but we are still married 5 years. But I just tired of marriage. Okay, okay, Adrian. All right, I hear you. And I'm going to address some things about the good, the bad, and the ugly of separation. Okay. And so the second time I left, and I did not physically leave the home, but I physically left the bed and was living in another part of the home because at the time financially I couldn't afford to leave the home, but I know I wanted a divorce at that time, and so we had to make it work. Okay, so what separation allows for you to do is it allows, instead of going straight from this is not going to work to a divorce. What separation does, and this is some good things about separation. And you guys know I do this work every day because I stand for marriage. You understand that I do this work because I understand what it is to be in an absolute horrible marriage, but I also understand what it is to roll up my sleeves and to fix it, right? And so this is the reason why I started doing the work that I do to this day 19 years ago, because I want to see you guys win in your marriages, right? But again, it takes two willing people to look at themselves and to make the changes, okay? So what a separation, and I'm talking about the good parts of a separation, right? It allows you to maintain your, most of your lifestyle, because even though you're separated, most of the time when people are separated, they're still paying their normal bills. The only thing is that they might not be sleeping in the bed, or they might be at a different location, but they still maintain their duties at their marital home. Okay, so that's one benefit, that your lifestyle does not change so drastically as if you were going through a divorce. Okay. Number two, time apart will allow you to really, really look at the marriage and make a fair assessment. Is divorce really what you want to do, right? Because sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment and you have said things and he or she has walked away, and in this case it's a husband that walked away because his wife was not only verbally but physically abusive to him, so he decided that he was going to leave the marital bed, in the marriage, because he did not want to retaliate and put his hands on his wife. Okay. And so it really allows you to step back from the situation, reassess, and really realize, is my life going to be better without this person? Right. So it allows you that period of time to cool off. It allows you that period of time to really assess what got you in that position, in that situation, where you are right now. Because sometimes when you're still in the same thing, you don't give yourself that time, and it just becomes this thing, and you just keep repeating, keep saying, keep doing the same habits that got you in that situation. And so when Gil and I was separated the very first time, it allowed me to realize how my mouth had literally ruined my marriage, how my behavior had ruined my marriage. And so it allowed me to step back from the situation, right? And do the work that I needed on me. So I got myself into some counseling and figured out what was the root cause of what was making me behave so bad with the person that I said that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. So that is a good thing. It allows you to reflect and to really understand what was going on. And number three, it allows you to reconnect with yourself. It allows you to think. It allows you to breathe. It also allows you to reconnect with some of your old hobbies, some of your old friends, and things that you have put on the wayside, just being married and doing life, right? So it allows you to reconnect with the core person of who you are, right? That is if you're really wanting to do the work, okay? So let's talk about the bad side. Okay, backwood lawn care give you time to improve yourself and not focus on anything else. That is 100% true, right? And a lot of people think the separation all automatically leads to divorce. It does not automatically lead to divorce unless you don't want to do the work. So I'm going to talk about the bad side of separation. If you're separated and you and your spouse do not communicate, right? If you guys are separated and you guys are not communicating about what's going on throughout the day, what's going on in the marital home, if you have children, if you have other responsibilities, if you guys are not communicating, that is a bad space to be in. It really is, because again, separation is not putting a period behind your marriage. Separation is allowing you to have that comma to say, but if we work on this, but if we do this, but if we come together and we come up with a game plan to be two different people working towards the same goal, right? So the separation is not the period, the divorce is. And I want you guys to be very, very clear that separation is not always bad. In Gil and I's case, it was what brought us back together and made us stronger. Because not only did I do the work on myself, he did the work on his self. And when we came together and put some rules and some regulations, not just on my behavior, but how he responded to my behavior. And we had to set it down, and I had to swallow my pride, take off my boss woman hat, and realize that I was operating out of order. Okay. In this case, for this man, I understand why he walked away, because if he would have put his hands on his wife and vice versa, she shouldn't have put her hands on him, then he could have caught a case for abuse, right? And so I am glad that he walked away. Hi, Roxanne from North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you. Okay. Um, and so if you are not talking to your spouse during the separation, that is a bad thing. So find a way, if you're in this situation or thinking about separation, to make sure that you continue to have conversations with your spouse about what is going on with them and what is going on in your marital home if you have decided to move physically out of the marital home. Number two, if you start acting like you single. If you think that you're separated and that you can start acting like you're single, you're operating out of order. And that's not what separation is about, because you're still married legally to him or her. You still have responsibilities to him and her, and you still have a covenant between you and him or her with God. So don't think that because you're separated, that you can automatically start acting like you're single, because that is a lie. And in some states, you can be prosecuted for infidelity. Some states that the spouse that's being cheated on, if they have proof, can sue you and the other person that for infidelity. So don't do it. Just because you take off your ring does not mean that you're not married. Okay? Did you try to message her? I don't know what you're talking. I don't have no clue what you're talking about, backyard. Hello, Cynthia from Texas. I appreciate you. Um, I appreciate you for getting on here. I appreciate all you guys, whether you're on my YouTube channel or whether you are on my Facebook channel. I appreciate you guys for definitely getting on here. Yes, backwood 3 or 4 times a day drove me nuts, backyard. Then I just quit doing that time. Okay, I guess Adrian and you and Backyards are having your own conversation. Okay, so do not act like you're single, because you're setting yourself up for more heartache and more trials and tribulations than just walking away and saying, okay, I'm going to finish this before I start something new. Okay. And let me just tell you this. If you're married and you're separated and you're starting a whole nother relationship, what you do with me, you will do to me. If that person is so willing to get with you while you're still married legally, trust and believe me, what you do with me, you will do to me. And I'll let that sink in. Number 3, when you don't take care of yourself, when you don't take care of yourself, just because you're separated does not mean that you can just let yourself go. Because at the end of the day, whether you're separated and living around the world from each other, if you get sick, your spouse is still responsible for you. Did you hear what I said? If you don't take care of yourself, you let yourself go, if you end up in the hospital, your spouse is legally still responsible to make decisions for you. That's why I said you shouldn't start nothing until you finish it, because they're still responsible for you. So if you get sick, they're not going to call your cousin. They're not going to call your mama. They're not going to call your daddy. They're going to call your spouse, because they're the person that's legally responsible for you. So let that sink in. Okay? The other thing that is bad when you're separated, if you don't take 100% credit for your behavior and how you guys ended up there. It's very easy to point the finger at your spouse. But people are not in this relationship alone. You had a part in it. And you need to take credit for your part in it, change your behavior in order for the marriage to work. And so a lot of people ask me this question. If we're going to be separated, what is a good time for us to be separated before I get concerned, right? My thing is there's no time limit, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody's emotions is different. There's different age groups of children. It's a lot of things to go on there, and you're not going to pin me down to say, Dr. Gail said this, and we not fitting into this, so we need to do this. Nope, you ain't going to get me to say that, okay? What I will say is, the quicker you do the work on you, the quicker you take credit for the reason why you're in that situation, and you guys get into some kind of counseling, whether it's get somebody qualified, right? We invest in tennis shoes, we invest in laptops, we invest in phones, we invest in cars, we invest in houses, we invest in everything but the covenant that we cut with this other person, right? So get with somebody who is qualified, right? And pay the money and get you some help, because your spouse is the only walking, talking, living, breathing person on this earth that you cut a covenant with besides God. And we don't want to invest in that. But we will go buy a new pair of tennis shoes, a new purse, and go on a vacation. Talking about, I'm trying to get myself together. No, you need to invest in the person that you said you're going to spend the rest of your life with and make it right. Because let me just tell you, it is cheaper to go to counseling than it is to go get a retainer for a divorce lawyer. Google it. It is. So the question becomes is, when can you do the work the fastest? When can you communicate? And when can you get back under one roof? and not, in this case, be putting your hands on one another's and putting yourself in danger to go to jail. That's the answer. That is the answer. Okay. So if you're in a situation where you're separated, that it's not all bad. But I say to you, do not allow that to be your permanent situation where you're being separated from your spouse 6 and 7 years. That's absolutely ridiculous. Be grown enough to say, okay, this is not working, and do what it takes for it to end. Do not drag them through it, and don't drag yourself through it. But if you're just being selfish and you don't want to do the work, but you still want your marriage, get your behind back under the same roof and do the work and make it happen. That's what I got to say to that. Gail, my wife, and I got separated over money and sex in October 2020. I love sex with my wife, and she don't like sex, which I don't get. I pay bills on time every month and still no affection. Okay, Adrian, there's an underlying thing going on with your wife, and right now I can't, coach you right now, but I will say that women and men just don't stop having sex for no reason, right? There's something else going on, right? And I don't know if it's a hormone thing. I don't know if sex is painful for her. I don't know if she's, has had a sexual trauma in the past, and every time she gets ready to engage, that comes up. There's many things that could be going on with your wife for her to withhold sex, but it's just not normal for a woman or a man to withhold sex. It's just not. It's something underlying that she's not ready to reveal, or she really doesn't understand what's going on. I don't know. I haven't talked to your wife, but I will tell you this, that it's just not normal for her to withhold sex all of a sudden, because evidently you was having sex, you know, before 2020, because you I'm sure you guys wouldn't have, got married or whatever, or stayed married. So something has happened, and you need to get to the root cause of why she's withholding sex. And I'm open, like I said, I if you want to have a 15-minute discovery call with me, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to help you. If you go to my website, you can schedule a free 15-minute discovery call with me, and I would love to try to help you get to the root cause of why your wife has stopped having sex with you. Okay? Hi, Vinny. Sex in marriage is overrated. Okay, if you think sex in marriage is overrated, it just depends on how you view sex. There is some people who are happily married that have not engaged in sex for years, and he's okay with it and she's okay with it. But then there's other people like Adrian and myself and other people that it's not okay. And if you stop engaging in sex, then you need to get to the root cause of it so you can fix it if it's fixable. Okay, if it's not a medical thing, it's a mental thing. Okay, and I can just tell you that. Okay, it's no, it's not. Life I love sex with my wife. I understand that too. Sex is healthy for you. It's good for the body. When God created it, He said it was also good. Trust and believe that. Okay, so I want to tell you guys, thank you so much. I had ran a special for my Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage conference in January, and it was amazing. And so I want to tell all the wives and all the husbands who registered their wives for my conference in January, it's going to be off the chain. Registration is still open. And again, you guys, thank you so much for getting on here. I truly appreciate it, because they are having sex with someone else. That's not always true. People kill me always saying if they ain't getting it from you, they're getting it from somewhere. That is not always the case. It's not. You can have sex and not have a government license of marriage. People do it all the time, Vinny. That's true. But it's not always the case. with, you know, and I've done plenty of videos on my YouTube channel, why women withhold sex and why men withhold sex, right? And it's for different reasons. It really is. It's for different reasons why women stop having sex, and it's different reasons why men stop having sex, right? And the thing is that you have to get to the root cause of why that happens in order for you to get back on the same page, right? Maybe not physically, but mentally. Okay. So again, I love you guys. And again, if you guys need me, if you want a consultation with me, like I said, just go on my website and just book it. And I would love to speak with you. I'm not trying to sell you nothing at all, to be honest with you. I'm not. If you need me, if you want me to cover any, you know, topic here on Wife Chat, if you send me an inbox either here or to my email or whatever, I will let you know when I will be doing your chat. I will never say your name, but I will need to know where you're reaching me from, so I can say this is so and so from California or whatever. And so again, I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight on Wife Chat, and I just thank you guys for on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys here on Facebook. I love you guys to pieces. I will see you next week.